Oh, that's that jam.
And welcome to Wise Guys. These guys know sports. Sitting alongside my co-host Clarence. What's up, Clarence?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Today is Monday, April the 13th. I said sit alongside, but we're not actually together at the moment. We're just doing the show remotely right now. Remember, follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Instagram, These Guys Know Sports. Clarence, how you been, bro?
No, man, I've been quarantined and chilling, man. I've been chilling here all this time. I'm ready to go back to work, honestly.
Man, I've been missing my sports, though, man. I've been missing my NBA. We're supposed to be getting ready for the NBA playoffs this weekend. You know, we got the upcoming NFL draft that was supposed to take place in Vegas this weekend. We missing our sports, bro. We missing our sports, man.
Man, it's just a lot going on right now, man. Like, this was like playoffs time. This is supposed to be like in the second round. We supposed to be going crazy, talking crazy at each other, making crazy, bold statements at each other, man.
I know, man. I know. But look, before we get into our few topics that we're going to discuss, we want to send our thoughts and prayers to a few families because we woke up this morning to some sad news. As former quarterback Tavares Jackson was killed this morning in a car accident. We want to send our thoughts and prayers to his family. Also, we want to send our thoughts and prayers to the family of Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns lost his mother to COVID-19. It was announced earlier today, Jacqueline Towns. So we want to send our thoughts and prayers to the families that was affected by these two tragedies.
Yeah.
So let's start off. We got a lot of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the NBA season, if it resumes, who is our NBA title favorites. We're going to talk about Cam Newton versus Andrew Luck. Also, we're going to talk about Jordan Love. Should my Packers draft Jordan Love? So many things we're going to get into. But the first thing we got to start off with is some NBA news. It's reported that Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell had some friction amongst each other due to the COVID-19 that took place. As we all know, Rudy Gobert was the first NBA player to be tested positive for the coronavirus. And then it went on to Donovan Mitchell. He was tested positive for it. And plenty of reports out there have said that Gobert and Mitchell have some friction amongst each other. Rudy Gobert downplays his feud with Donovan Mitchell, and he says there is no friction, but the relationship is, quote, far from perfect. So, Clarence, my question for you is, do you believe Rudy Gobert that the rift between him and Mitchell is overblown? Do you think this is overblown?
From his perspective, Rudy Gobert just take it like it's nothing to really get something serious about because he feels like he didn't even know a word that the coronavirus was involved into his body. Excuse me. Yeah. And here's the thing. Donovan Mitchell is just letting out frustrations, anger because he got caught with it. He didn't know it was that. He didn't know he even got contained with it, Trey. And I feel like Rudy Gobert, he just trying to play it cool, like it doesn't matter. But to Donovan Mitchell, it does matter because here's this. He's the most valuable player on their team right now. So whatever he has to say, best believe the owners, even the coaches, they go make a decision and say, hey, we got to get Rudy out of here just because Donovan Mitchell is not feeling the vibe here. But I think for Rudy Gay, man, I think for him, he just got to understand this. You passed on another disease to another person that put his family at a high risk. He put his own self at a high risk. Can't get near his mother, his brother, private girlfriend, whoever. He put Donovan Mitchell as a high risk because he had the coronavirus. But I'm glad that he cleared it up, and both of them cleared it up. But I feel like I agree with him. It's far from perfect. They probably got some time to make up, but ultimately decision, Donovan Mitchell wants him gone. He's gone, man.
But I also believe that it's overblown. Just from the standpoint, unless there was already previous friction amongst Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, I feel like basically this was the camel that drew the camel's back. Like, this was the icing on the cake, basically. Like, unless there was something that was already previously going on between these two players, I don't see why this coronavirus will be something that would break this team up. And I believe it's overblown. But also, I will say I understand where Donovan Mitchell coming from. I get it, because Rudy Gobert, he was irresponsible. You know, he was touching mics and press conferences. He didn't take it with the seriousness it needed to be taken with. But I'm gonna be honest though, Clarence, along with Rudy Gobert, myself and a lot of other Americans did take the coronavirus as serious as we needed to initially. I'll be straightforward. I didn't take it serious until they shut down the NBA. Once they shut down the NBA, we saw the severity of the virus, and we see how deadly it is and how contagious it is. So I understand where Donovan Mitchell was coming from the standpoint of he felt like Rudy Gobert should have took it more serious. But also I feel like if they are as close as they say they were and they've been close teammates, I don't believe the coronavirus should be something that should break them apart. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this is something that was the icing on the cake and they already had previous issues, but I don't think the coronavirus should be something that should necessarily break these two apart, because these are one of the most dynamic duos that we have in the NBA. Like, these are two up-and-coming stars. Donovan Mitchell, he averaged 23 points per game, 4 assists per game on 44% shooting for his career. And he made the All-Star team for the first time this year. Rudy Gobert, we know he's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, a great rim protector, one of the best defensive players that we have in the NBA. If I'm the Utah Jazz, I'm going to find a way to keep these two together in Utah, because, you know, Utah isn't a destination for free agents. It's not New York. It's not LA. It ain't Chicago. It's Utah. It ain't much to do in Utah. Okay, so when you win drafting players like Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, you have to keep that kind of duo together. And I believe if I'm the Utah Jazz, that's what I'm trying to do.
So that goes to my next question to you, Trey. So if there is an NBA season, which I hope it will, do you think Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, they will start the season on the same team or different team?
Yes. I believe they'll start the season on the same team when we resume play. Because when I look at the Utah Jazz, General Manager Dennis Lindsey, if I'm Dennis Lindsey, I'm bringing Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell into my office, and we're going to have a sit-down, heart-to-heart conversation, and we're going to hash out our differences, because these are two of my young stars that I have on my team, and you have to find a way to make it work. You had the dynamic duo and John Stockton and Karl Malone. Now you got Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. You want to keep these two together because, again, you don't have any free agents that's signing up to play in Utah. So if I'm Dennis Lindsey, the general manager for the Utah Jazz, I'm sitting these two brothers down in my office before play resumes. We got plenty of time, Clarence, because it sounds like the NBA isn't going to start talking about a potential start date until May. So we got plenty of time for Donovan Mitchell to get out of his feelings. I understand why he feels the way he feels, but he has plenty of time to relax, calm down, and when it's time to work and play again, he has to mend fences with Rudy Gobert. That way the Utah Jazz can have some success in the NBA playoffs once we have them.
I agree with you there. I think they have enough time to like fix their friendship that's been torn because of this coronavirus pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. But for my honest statement, for me, I think that they should like take this time and like fix that, because it's a lot more important to that. You both got clear for the virus, and now y'all got clear from the virus. Y'all need to build the friendship back so y'all can come back playing basketball. I think that's all she wrote right there, Trey. Like, They need to build that friendship right there, build a friendship, and go back playing basketball together.
And to finish up, I always like to look at people's hearts. Did they have any malintent? Did they have any ill intent? I don't believe Rudy Gobert had any ill intent to get Donovan Mitchell sick. Again, was he irresponsible? Yes. But I don't believe Rudy Gobert took it with the seriousness it needed to be taken with, like the rest of us Americans, like America as a whole, including myself. A lot of people didn't take this coronavirus as serious as it needed to be taken with, and that's the result of other people getting sick. So, like I said, I understand where Donovan Mitchell was coming from, why he would be a little frustrated with Rudy Gobert. But if you my boy, it's going to take something more than a coronavirus for us to really, really break our friendship.
Yeah, I agree with you right there. They got a lot to give. They got a lot to build up right there. But we go slightly move on from right there. So moving on. So Trey, so you've been hearing about the news today. Nick Wright, honestly, yeah, I'm calling Nick Wright. Your boy Nick Wright. He said Joe Burrow doesn't want to play for the Bengals, man. Do you honestly? I want to ask you, be honest with you, Trey. Do you honestly believe Joe Burrow doesn't want to play for the Bengals?
Yes, I believe that Joe Burrow doesn't want to play for the Bengals. And it's a couple of reasons why. And I know this your boy Joe Burrow. I know he had 60 passing touchdowns last year with LSU. And I know that you believe that Joe Burrow is a lock to get into the NFL Hall of Fame. Like, in your mind, Joe Burrow is already going to the Hall of Fame. He's a lock. Let's just book his ticket to Canton right now. But when you look at Joe Burrow and the statements that he's made, Clarence, it obviously lends itself to believe that he doesn't want to play for your Cincinnati Bengals. In January, he told Dan Patrick, quote, you want to go to a number one, but you want to go to a great organization that's committed to winning. That's obviously not your Bengals. In February, he went on to say, whoever wants to pay me to play football, I'll play for them. Basically saying, of course I'm going to play football if I'm going to get paid for it. But he hasn't ever really said anything that is a letter of like endorsement for your Cincinnati Bengals to draft him. Then he went on the big podcast with Shaq and he said, quote, I just want to get drafted to a good team, good organization that is going to maximize my talents. I've won everywhere that I've been. I've never had a losing season in sports from the moment I was 5 years old. I'm not a loser. I just want to go somewhere where I can win. That was on the big podcast with Shaq. So he hasn't had necessarily an endorsement for your Bengals. He hasn't said, I'm from Ohio. I'm an Ohio kid. I'm looking forward to playing for the Cincinnati Bengals and being able to drive home less than 3 hours away and eat dinner from time to time. He hasn't said anything along those lines, which leads me to believe he really doesn't want to play for your Cincinnati Bengals, sir.
You know, Mr. Larkins, I completely disagree with you, man. I disagree with you 100%. 200%. I honestly disagree with you 200%. First of all, he said in his first draft, that he wouldn't mind coming home for dinner after a game. That would be the best. That would be the best thing ever. Ever for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, I heard you. I know. I'm gonna cut. So, excuse me, y'all. My bad, y'all. But I'm gonna tell you this, Trey. He wants to be in Cincinnati. He's an Ohio kid, and you know how a rookie goes into a city, a big city that they've never been in, or a city they never played in. They gotta adapt to it. They gotta adapt to the city. They gotta adapt to the team. They gotta adapt to the fan base. But here it is, it's Cincinnati. The football player, the team's already adapted to him because they see the winner that he wants to be, that they want to be. They needed a winner at quarterback, because that's where it starts. Your quarterback is your leader that you follow to victory. He has a winning receipt that's compared to Tom Brady with the skill set of Aaron Rodgers. That's completely insane. And you so all in of trading all the picks. Why trade all the picks for one quarterback? Now, if they trade all the picks, all the picks, all they left is Burrow. That would be the stupidest trade that the Miami Dolphins or the Cincinnati Bengals even came across the ball. Joe Burrow is going number one. He knows he's going number one. The Cincinnati Bengals know they need a quarterback, and that quarterback is Joe Burrow. This guy right here, it's a game changer. And I'm not even saying I'm playing his ticket to the Hall of Fame. I'm expecting him to be with the Cincinnati Bengals 10 to 15 years, doing outstanding. There's a new day in Cincinnati, Trey, that you should be preparing for right now. Because, look, the Cincinnati Bengals, it is on and better, man. I am telling you, Joe Burrow will be here April 23rd, 8 o'clock. When they hear his name, I'm gonna call your name, man.
Listen, here's the thing. I told you that I actually believe it could be a blessing in disguise for your Bengals if Joe Burrow doesn't want to play for your Bengals. Because now maybe the Dolphins trade up and they get Joe Burrow. So that way you and other Bengal fans won't have to suffer with and be let down by Joe Burrow. Because I don't believe Joe Burrow is going to be this elite quarterback that you believe he's going to be. We know last year at LSU, he had 60 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, threw for over 56 passing yards. We know he won the national championship, over Clemson. And like I told you, in the playoffs, he had practically home games. He had home games in the college football playoff, and he played well. I give him credit. He had one of the most sensational college football seasons we've ever seen. Like, he was outstanding last year. But I also believe that there are other quarterbacks in this draft that when we look back, they'll be better than Joe Burrow will be in the NFL. Tua is one of them. I believe Tua, from a physical skill set perspective, I believe he's better than Joe Burrow. I think he throws the ball better than Joe Burrow, and I think he's more accurate throwing the football in smaller spaces in that pocket. It's like I said, I'm not taking nothing from Joe Burrow, but I believe Joe Burrow coming to Cincinnati, playing for your Bengals with a weak offensive line, I think it's going to be a recipe for disaster for your Bengals, man. And then you're going to be going up against some tough defensive lines in the Steelers, and the Ravens, and the Browns. These are three teams defensively that get after you. The Browns, Steelers, and Ravens. I think Joe Burrow is going to struggle with your Bengals not being able to be protected to get the ball down the field. And like I said, I'm not so sure if he's going to have this great career like you think he will. So therefore, I believe it'll be a blessing in disguise for your Bengals if he gets drafted by another team.
See, this one you all wrong again. Two times in a row, you are wrong again, man. That's why I know you hasn't been paying attention to the Cincinnati Bengals. You hasn't been seeing all the good signings. You hasn't seen the moves that they made. They replaced a old lineman because they felt like he wasn't tough enough or he didn't fit the scheme, so they brought in a lineman. They brought in a line, Xavier Saffold that was running, that Zeke Elliott was running behind. That is like amazing. That's amazing for the Cincinnati Bengals. They spent $120 million. $120 million, Trey. The Bengals ain't spent that money like in 5 years. I don't even know. That's the highest they spent since 2010, man. I'm telling you straight up, this Bengals team is different. It is a new day approaching. And I will say this, and I say this with confidence. The Cincinnati Bengals, from a talented standpoint, is way better than the Green Bay Packers. But that's saved for another day. Another day. First thing first, getting the defense back to the top 10 as what they was, and you draft Joe Burrow, and you team him up with Joe Mixon. And did you forget Joe Mixon played with the last two quarterbacks that went number one the last 2 years? Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. He know how to play with a quarterback that goes one. I think him and Burrow, they gonna be making magic, baby. It's the Joe show. Trey, you gotta just be understanding.
We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But
definitely,
let's move on to some NBA. As we know, this weekend was supposed to be the start of the NBA playoffs. Yes, I know we depressed about it. But we're going to assume that the NBA will be back up and going, over the next few months. So who is your title favorite once the NBA resumes?
I still think it's the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, it was impressive wins over the weekends against that Clippers and Bucks team because those were the top teams in the Eastern Conference, respectively, in the Western Conference. And LeBron looked at the better player out of them two games. And I'm gonna just tell you this: LA, they're locked and loaded for the playoffs. They know they made the playoffs. They know a new route is about to be coming because this is the last time he ever made to the playoffs was 2013, which been a long time. But you have playoff LeBron, you got a young, hungry AD, plus you got a great service team. I think the LA Lakers, they still can take this, man. They have enough experience to win you a title. They might not have the skill set has the Clippers have, but they have enough veterans that has championship experience, man. I'm telling you. The LA Lakers, man, they all in on it.
Well, when the season first started, I picked the Lakers to win the championship because I thought the duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis would be too much. But I also said at the beginning of the season that I felt like the Clippers were the best team, top to bottom, and they had the most depth in the NBA. But as the season went on and I started to see the Clippers play together more and more, and I started to watch the Lakers, and I saw how LeBron James he had his foot to the gas pedal. Like, since the opening night, LeBron James has had his foot to the gas pedal and been going for the NBA MVP. And I saw that in year 17, LeBron James chasing NBA MVP, and I'm seeing him play at this such high level. And I'm just wondering, at age 36, is he going to be able to, have enough energy to carry the Lakers once we get to the postseason? Then I seen the Lakers go up against the Clippers, twice before the third meeting, and I seen the Clippers' depth be too much for the Lakers. So I changed my pick, and I said I think the Clippers are going to be the NBA champions, and I'm still with the Clippers as we speak right now. I know in the last meeting when the Lakers and Clippers played each other, I know the Lakers beat the Clippers, and LeBron James, Anthony Davis combined for 58 points in that game. But Paul George and Kawhi Leonard also combined for 58 points in that game. So it was a push by the two duos. The difference was Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley in that game, I think he had like 24 points, and he hit like 6 3-point shots. Let me tell you something right now, Clarence. If you're depending on Avery Bradley to drop double figures in a playoff series consistently for your Lakers, it won't happen. Therefore, I believe the Clippers, they have more reliable scoring options in Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell and Morris as well. So I believe the Clippers have the better team from top to bottom, and I think their depth will be too much for the Lakers. And I also believe LeBron James, having his foot to the gas pedal the way he has had it throughout the season, I think he'll run on the gas in the Western Conference Finals, and I think the Clippers will get the best of the Lakers. And I think they'll win a title, too. I think the Clippers will win a title ultimately.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference between the Clippers supporting cast and the Lakers supporting cast. They have enough scorers, they have enough rebounds, they have enough defenders. They have enough players that you need for a success team. But here's the difference on the Lakers. They have enough players too. But some have veteran experience, some had champion experience, some had both. Some just hungry. Because they never been in the playoffs. They never felt that feeling of a series, of a 7-game series. So this will be brand new to them. You don't know what can happen. You don't know what can happen when they in that 7-game, when they on that floor. It's game one. The game one, shift game 2, game 3, all that feeling. They take that in and fighting it with it. That's why I say this Lakers team is hungry, and they got the most veteran experience in the NBA, in my opinion, that can have enough to win you a championship. I'm telling you, man, this Lakers team and young AD, they can take it, Trey. They can trade.
But see, for me, when it comes to even the coaches, I believe Doc Rivers is a better coach than Frank Vogel. So I got to give the edge to the Clippers, even in the coaching department. We know Tyronn Lue is on that staff as well with Doc Rivers. But I will say Jason Kidd is on the Lakers staff with Frank Vogel as well. A lot of people think that Jason Kidd is going to take over for Frank Vogel at some point because he's a player's coach and players know him in the league, and they got a lot of respect for Jason Kidd. But I just think the Clippers' depth is going to be too much for the Lakers. And like I said, I give credit where it's due. I think the Lakers have done an outstanding job this year. They got 49 wins on the season, first in the Western Conference. They've been the best team in the Western Conference so far in this season until we had, the NBA shut down. I'll give them credit for that. I just think the Clippers' depth with Morris, with Leonard, with Paul George, with Beverly, I think they're going to have too many bodies to throw at LeBron James in the Western Conference Finals. And I think the Clippers, when they get to the finals, I think they'll shut down Giannis or even Boston if they happen to get there, because I think Boston got a chance to beat Giannis and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference. But that's another story for another day. I got the Clippers winning the NBA Finals. Clarence still got the Lakers. Let's move on. Let's talk about my Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about Jordan Love, as the Green Bay Packers are doing their homework on Utah State draft prospect Jordan Love. So here's a simple question for you, Clarence. We talked about your Bengals earlier. We're about to talk about my Packers here for a little bit. If the Packers have an opportunity to draft Jordan Love, should they draft him?
I remember we had this conversation earlier. We were saying like, yeah, it'd be like a great idea if Jordan Love got drafted to the Green Bay Packers, because here's this. Aaron Rodgers 35, and the Green Bay Packers know he's going up in age, and they need a quarterback for the future. So for them drafting Jordan Love, that's even if he's available at 18. Like, I honestly think they don't. I don't think they're going to draft him. Like, I had a second thought. I don't think they're going to draft Jordan Love, because I feel like since Tua's draft value has been dropping, Jordan Love draft value has been increasing. And teams been thinking about taking a risk with this prospect because they see a lot of potential in him and they want to go maximize his talent. For Green Bay, I think, honestly, that they should wait until next year, wait for next year to go get their quarterback because there'd be a deeper one. Not saying they're going to be in a race for like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, but somehow it's gonna be another quarterback out there that fits their scheme better, what they think is best for them. But I think for Jordan Love, that his draft value has been going up for the upcoming weeks. I think he landed with Green Bay Packers won't be the best side thing. And plus, Green Bay Packers, all due respect, they're going to draft a receiver. They're going to draft a number 2 receiver that line up with Devontae Adams. That's their first priority. Like, if Jordan Love is available like second or third round, they're going to take him. But he's not going to be available. He's going to be going the first round. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, and also real quick before we get into this, I want to say I did add on an extra digit to my man LeBron James's age. I said he was 36. He's actually 35. So I added on a digit to Father Time. So I gotta say my bad, LeBron. You're 35, not 36. But back to this. Here's how I feel. It's two sides to this for me. And I'll admit, Clarence, I am torn. I'm torn. I'm gonna be honest. Let me tell you the first side. As a Packers fan, I want my Packers to draft a player who can help Aaron win now. We need a number 2 receiver, like you said, to complement Devontae Adams. And in this draft, there are plenty of studs at the receiver position. We got Jerry Jeudy, we got CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson from LSU. This draft, the receivers that's going to be in this draft, they are studs. And they're going to really be promising prospects for many years to come in the NFL. So I believe we have to get a consistent number 2 receiver to put alongside Devontae Adams, give Aaron Rodgers another consistent target to throw the ball to, because over the last few years, Devontae Adams, he has led the NFL in the most targets. He's been targeted the most, more than any other receiver in the league. We need to get Devontae some help at the receiver position, or even draft a tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers since we lost Brian Bulaga to free agency with the Chargers. You know what I mean? You have to protect Aaron, you know? So that's the Aaron Rodgers fan in me that's saying we need to basically draft a player that's going to help Aaron win now. But let's flip this. As a Packers fan, I know Aaron don't want to hear this. And I love you, Aaron. You're my favorite quarterback of all time, and I believe you're the best quarterback of all time from a talent perspective. But if I'm the Packers, and as a Packers fan, I want my Packers to trade up and get Jordan Love. I think 10 to 15 years from now, when we look back on this draft, Jordan Love could be a steal in this draft, Clarence. I believe Jordan Love has the talent to be better than a Tua, better than a Justin Herbert, better than a Joe Burrow. Jordan Love, in 2018, he had 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, completing 64% of his passes, and he led Utah State to an 11-2 record. That was under previous coach Matt Wells. The next season, which was last year, he only had 20 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. But that was under a new coaching staff, and they also lost 10 starters on offense. So he was under. It was a bunch of things going on. That's why he didn't have the numbers that he had in 2018. He also had 7 rushing touchdowns in 2018. So this guy can move in the pocket and make plays with his legs. That's what these general managers and these teams are looking for now. They're looking for Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. Those stationary targets in the pocket, those days are over with at the quarterback position. And I think Jordan Love has the ability to be an Aaron Rodgers-esque or a Patrick Mahomes type of player. So I believe Jordan Love has potential to be elite at the next level. And I believe if the Packers have a chance to move up and draft him, you have to get the player that's going to be the replacement for Aaron Rodgers. And I think Jordan Love is that guy.
I like your statement, Trey. I like your statement. I'm feeling positive about this guy. You know me. I do the mock drafts, the NFL mock drafts myself. And here's the thing about this. That's not the best decision I'm doing right now, trading up for a quarterback, because he is a raw prospect. And here's my thing. I think he's going that route what Mahomes did, what Alex Smith Alex Smith. You know, what Alex Smith was mentoring Mahomes while Mahomes
Yeah.
was on the bench for a year. The year he exploded. I'm not saying Jordan Love can possibly does that, but I think Jordan Love is running that route because a lot of teams, a lot of good teams that's needing a quarterback, they love his athleticism, Trey. Like you said, the 7 rushing touchdowns, like those runs was 20+ yards of running. And this guy is so athletic. Like he's a working process, but in the future he's gonna be one of the best. He's gonna be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I would guarantee you that because he's a raw prospect that need construction work. But if he ever fall to Green Bay, that would be amazing. I'll be wow. Wow. But the first priority for the Green Bay Packers, you have to draft that receiver. You have to get not even an elite receiver, a safe receiver enough to complement Devontae Parker. Unless Devontae Parker getting triple team, man. And you know the teams in your division, they getting better this year, man. I'm keeping an eye on them.
Yeah, but let's assume we do draft Jordan Love. Let's say we found a way to move up in the draft and we draft Jordan Love. I'll be the first to let Jordan Love know that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be happy about my Packers drafting Jordan Love, right? He's not going to mentor Jordan Love. Let's keep it real. Aaron Rodgers is not that type of personality. He's not that type of player. Okay, so Jordan Love, let me let you know right now, bro, if you get drafted by my Packers, if you need, some positivity brought your way, call me. Give me a ring, bro, because I'm a Packers fan, and I'm going to support you. I'm letting you know right now, Jordan, Aaron won't support you. Okay? I love my quarterback, but my quarterback, he's the kind of guy that's about himself, and he knows it's his show right now in Green Bay as the Packers star quarterback. So, Jordan Love, don't look for that mentorship or that leadership from Aaron Rodgers because he won't give it to you. But I believe Jordan Love has the skill set to be like Aaron Rodgers in the future. And if he looks at Aaron and watches how Aaron plays, I believe that could be a recipe for success for Jordan Love's career and the Green Bay Packers as an organization. And like I said, the Packer fan in me wants us to draft Jordan Love, but the Aaron Rodgers fan in me is saying, let's get Aaron Rodgers more pieces so he can get back to the Super Bowl.
Love your answer, man. Love your answer. All right.
One more thing I want to say real quick. One more thing I want to say too real quick.
Yeah, one more thing.
Yeah, one more thing real quick. I want to say this too. When you look at these quarterbacks, last thing before we move on to Cam versus Andrew Luck. When you look at these quarterbacks in this draft, Joe Burrow. I know you biased with Joe Burrow because you think he's going to be a Bengal. Let's take Joe Burrow out of this. Let's talk about Tua, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love, and Kyler Murray, and Sam Darnold. All these young quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, whoever you want to throw in there. Who do you think has the most upside? Let me name them again. We got Tua, we got Justin, we got Jordan Love, we got Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Kyler Murray. Who got the most upside out of all these young quarterbacks in the NFL?
I
know it's tough.
No, it's not. It's actually not tough. I actually still got Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is the third overall quarterback that got the more upside because he got great athleticism ability. Sorry.
No, you good.
My bad. Okay, he has great athleticism, and he's a big guy with a strong arm that needs to be working on his accuracy. I think he still got the upside because some teams like them big, strong arm quarterback, and he's 6'6", 220 plus. So that would be a big boost for a quarterback that teams that love his arm set. But I think teams go fall in love with his athleticism. I think Herbert got the more upside.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you who I believe has the most upside besides Jordan Love. I got Kyler Murray. When the Arizona Cardinals traded for DeAndre Hopkins, and we all know DeAndre Hopkins is universally recognized as a top 5 receiver in the NFL, really top 3 to be honest. But when they added DeAndre Hopkins, and you still have a veteran receiver and Larry Fitzgerald, I believe Kyler Murray is set up for success with the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. We know last year he had 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, completed, 64% of his passes. But I believe Kyler Murray showed the ability to be a leader in that Arizona Cardinals locker room, and he wants to win. He has that will to win. He won at Oklahoma, won a Heisman Trophy as well. And in his first year with the Arizona Cardinals, although they didn't make the playoffs, we've seen that the Arizona Cardinals, under a quarterback like Kyler Murray, they're set up for some success as the years go along. So I believe with the weapons like DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald, I believe Kyler Murray is the quarterback of all the young quarterbacks that has the most upside for future seasons to come.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyler Murray got a lot of upside. They traded for DeAndre Hopkins, which was like a shocker with Larry Fitzgerald. I think he is he's success. Like he's ready to be a successful quarterback, man.
Yeah, I like Kyler Murray. I mean, he had over 3,700 passing yards, which was 15th in the NFL. But again, that was on this. He's a rookie. It was his first year in the NFL, and he played outstanding. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but even his rushing yards, like he did good as far as even rushing. He only had 4 rushing touchdowns on the season last year.
I think like 500 rushing yards at least.
Yeah, he had 544 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. But you know he's the kind of player that can move around in the pocket. He has the mobility that you're looking for in a young quarterback. And if Cliff Kingsbury can get his act together as a coach, I believe Kyler Murray is set up for success with the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. I got my questions about Cliff Kingsbury, though, Clarence. You know, he got the job. I didn't think he necessarily deserved it, but he got the job. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you right there. All right, Trey. This is the last topic of the day, and you had an interesting question that rings my bell, man. That rung my bell about that. And I second looked at the question. You said, if you can have a quarterback for 10 years injury free, which quarterback would you take? Andrew Luck or Cam Newton? So here's my thing. You got to think about it as of right now, what these two teams got right now. Just Indianapolis Colts got a great offensive line. The Carolina Panthers got Christian McCaffrey. So if you were Andrew Luck, or if you were picking, who are you taking?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say I believe this is a great question. I really believe that. Yes. I don't think you can really go wrong with either answer because I believe Cam Newton and Andrew Luck were 2 quarterbacks that were quarterbacks in the NFL that were going to be in the top 10, you know, as their careers went along. When you look at Cam Newton, he's obviously a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback, 2015 NFL MVP, 2015 Offensive Player of the Year, won Rookie of the Year. He also became the first player to throw for over 400 passing yards in his first game. We know he led the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl in 2016. But the thing is, Cam Newton has had, you know, turnover issues, and he's thrown his interceptions in previous seasons. We know he has 108 career interceptions, 182 career touchdown passes. He's completed 60% of his passes. So those are some of the statistical numbers for Cam Newton. You know, we look at Andrew Luck. We know Andrew Luck led the Colts to the playoffs his first 3 years. They went 11-5. I think in the 2014 AFC Championship game, you know, he led the Colts to the AFC Championship. So that was a major accomplishment. 4-time Pro Bowler, comeback player of the year. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these guys. But I'm going to be honest, Clarence. I believe when you look at the situation that they both were put in, I believe Cam Newton was put in a better situation than Andrew Luck was. Andrew Luck playing behind those terrible offensive lines with the Colts, the numbers that he was able to put up is great to me. Like, that was greatness to me. Like, again, he has, 171 career total touchdowns, just 83 interceptions. He did throw a lot of interceptions, though, similar to Cam, but I believe he was under so much duress, that's why he was throwing all the interceptions that he was throwing. I believe Andrew Luck was put in a situation where he was running around for his life, and he didn't have the kind of protection that Cam Newton had in Carolina. And I believe even at the coaching spot, like Ron Rivera is one of the top coaches we have in the NFL. He got to the Super Bowl in 2015 with Cam. He's now the new head coach for the Washington Redskins. Andrew Luck, he had Chuck Pagano, and then he had Frank Wright. You know, Frank Wright, I think he's a nice coach in the NFL, but Chuck Pagano was in over his head. So I believe Cam Newton actually had a better supporting cast, if you will, than Andrew Luck did. You know what I mean? Like, especially from the offensive line position. What you think about that? And then I'll give you my answer after that. But what you think about that part about it?
About Luck not having a good offensive line?
About what you think about Cam Newton being in a better position to succeed than Andrew Luck? Because that's how I feel.
I mean, I think Andrew Luck, though, was the better quarterback than Cam Newton, because Ron Rivera, all he did was play to Cam Newton's strength. And Chuck Pagano, like you say, he was out of his mind. But Chuck made plays or made calls that changed Andrew Luck's life. And I'm gonna tell you that Andrew Luck was the most NFL ready quarterback when he was coming out of college at Stanford. He was the back-to-back Heisman runner-up. Like coaches and scouts, they loved his ability to read defenses, be mobile, and got great arm strength and intangibles to be even nest. To me though, Cam though, he was very limited enough that he only could do so much of what he give y'all or give the organization. For me, I'm taking Luck, man. Let me tell you this why. I'm taking this why because he had all the tools that you needed in a quarterback: the toughness, the arm strength, the pocket presence, the leadership.
Yeah.
He even took a lot of hits for them. But for Luck, he had that winning. He had a good winning receipt. Yeah, like in the last 6-7 years, he had a horrible O-line. But when Frank Reich got there, that won a Super Bowl before he took the head coach job for the Indianapolis Colts with the Philadelphia Eagles, he seen something in Luck that, hey, we go invest in his own lineman. And that's what they did. They invested to that line. That line was one of the best lines in the league. And I honestly thought that the coach might have been dangerous. They had the tight end Eric Ebron having an explosive year with 15 receiving touchdowns. Andrew Luck only getting sacked 16 times that year.
Yeah.
So the running game was consistent. The defense was young. They was coming up. I believe they had it all success. They had it all success right there. If Andrew Luck could have beat them injuries, man, I think this coach team, Phillip Rivers wouldn't even be there right now. Phillip Rivers probably would have retired. He probably would have retired. He probably wouldn't even go to Indianapolis. I think this Andrew Luck, this guy is like the second best quarterback ever in Indianapolis Colts history, man. I'm going with Andrew Luck, man. If I get a blind in front of him, I know I'm going to expect greatness from him.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the season before he retired. That was the 2018 season. Andrew Luck, he had 39 touchdowns, just 15 interceptions. So he had a good year that year. I think he would have completed 67% of his passes. And like you said, that offensive line was good once Frank Reich arrived in Indianapolis. But before Frank Reich became the head coach of the Colts, they struggled at the offensive line position. Like, they couldn't get no protection for Andrew Luck. And I believe when you talk about being a pure passer, I believe Andrew Luck is a better passer than Cam Newton. I'm not taking nothing away from Cam, but I believe sometimes he was inconsistent as a passer. Like, sometimes his accuracy came and gone. Like, it was times where he'll have games where he'll throw the ball down the field effectively and it'll be accurate. But then the next week, you come back and I'm watching Cam and he's inaccurate. I'm like, Cam, where is the consistency as a passer? And we all know, being a quarterback, your job description is to throw the football. I don't give a damn how mobile you are. You got to be able to throw the ball down the field. And I believe Andrew Luck is a better passer than Cam Newton was. But I'm not taking nothing away from Cam Newton, because we know Cam Newton won the NFL MVP in 2015, and he carried the Panthers to their Super Bowl appearance. Carried them. And if it wasn't for Von Miller dominating in the 2016 Super Bowl, Cam Newton would have a Super Bowl championship on his resume, which could actually change this conversation, because I believe Andrew Luck's career ended prematurely. I think Andrew Luck had a ton of things that he could have accomplished in the NFL. And like you said, that last year, leading the Colts to a 10-6 record, I believe they lost in the first round to the Chiefs in the playoffs that year to Patrick Mahomes.
Divisional.
Yeah.
Divisional.
Okay, yeah, that's right. In the divisional, right. That's right, because they beat Deshaun Watson in the wild card weekend. You're right, yeah. But I believe Andrew Luck as a quarterback is a better passer than Cam Newton, and I was excited for his future, and I was surprised when he retired. But this is a great question. I don't think you can go wrong with either quarterback, Cam Newton or Andrew Luck.
And here's my thing before we leave out, Trey. Like, Cam Newton didn't have the proper skilled players around him enough for him to even adapt to his skill set. They would just fill in holes. And I feel like Andrew Luck, he had a number one receiver. You had multiple running backs that you could give it to. You had a solid offensive line, a 2 tight end set that was coming up that Cam only had 1 tight end throwing to Greg Olsen that Cam didn't have enough weapons to come around with. So for Cam, though, like when he was running the ball more, he was taking a lot of hits, and it was coming down. And them injuries started piling up. He couldn't even throw over 30 yards. So that dual threat quarterback, it lasted when it was fun. But he didn't have the opportunity to change up his play style, knowing that he's getting old. You're 30 or 31 years old, that you need to start working on your pocket passing, your passing skills, because your body's getting old from them hits. That's why I said, Luck, if he had a solid, okay offensive line, Luck would have been something better. Better. He might have been a top. He'd be up there with Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He'd be in them talks right now. Russell Wilson. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
And if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan out there, you need to be blaming Jim Irsay for all the issues that the Indianapolis Colts had for multiple years at the offensive line position because they couldn't protect Andrew Luck to save their life. And that's part of the reason why he retired prematurely. But I want to say this real quick. When you look at Andrew Luck and Cam Newton, I don't believe either one of these players had great skill position players. Like, once Cam Newton came onto the scene, I believe Steve Smith was out of his prime. And then he went on to Baltimore, where he played okay, but he was out of his prime. Andrew Luck, I think the best receiver Andrew Luck ever played with was T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's not great, but he's good. He's not great. You know what I mean? Like, he's never to be confused with DeAndre Hopkins or Odell Beckham or Julio Jones. But T.Y. Hilton's a good receiver. I believe T.Y. Hilton probably is the best receiver that Andrew Luck or Cam Newton ever played with. You know what I mean? So I don't really believe either one of these two players had great skill position players. I will say Cam Newton did have a nice running back duo with Jonathan Stewart and Williams the year that they won the Super Bowl or went to the Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember that. They had 2 running backs in Williams and Stewart. They're not great either, but they were nice, dynamic duos.
D'Angelo Williams,
yeah. But like I said, I think it's from a passing perspective and throwing the ball down the field, I'll give Andrew Luck the slight edge over Cam Newton. In 2014, Andrew Luck led the league in passing touchdowns. So we know Andrew Luck can throw the ball down the field. It's just sad that his career ended prematurely because the coach couldn't get no protection for him at the offensive line spot.
Like, I agree with you. If you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, I would be cussing out Jim Irsay every single day because you just lost your franchise quarterback. Now you got a washed up, not even washed up. You have an old quarterback in Phillip Rivers thinking he's about to come save the day, Super Bowl run, which is not going to happen because you couldn't protect Andrew Luck. And that's what you get now. You pay what you ask for, man.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you on that. But I will give the coach credit because they did hire Chris Ballard. He's now the general manager for the Indianapolis Colts. And he's the reason why they have protection now for Phillip Rivers moving forward, you know, depending on how many more years he played. But they got a nice offensive line now. But before last year, they had a terrible offensive line. So we've got to give the coach, you know, some credit from that perspective now that they have the right general manager, you know, in place. Because Ryan Grigson, I believe he was the general manager previously for the Colts. He did a terrible job. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it spade a spade. He was terrible as general manager. So having Chris Ballard in there now, he's really protected, you know, the Colts quarterbacks that they've had in place, you know, since Andrew Luck retired last year. You know, so we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yes, definitely, man.
But hey, great show, man. Great.
Yeah, it was a great gig today, man. It was a great show today.
Definitely. Hey, everyone, follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. So, Clarence, before we get out of here, I'm going to ask you a quick question. What has been your favorite quarantine activity? What's your favorite quarantine activity that you've been doing?
Cooking.
Now you a chef.
Yeah, I've been cooking, man. I've been sipping on some good wine with the good lovely girlfriend, and we just been cooking, man, cooking it up in here, and just been eating good each and every day. I've been learning to cook, learn new things each and every day, Trey, man.
Okay, so you know what my favorite quarantine activity's been?
Yeah.
Sleep. Okay, I've been catching up on my sleep, but I've asked them, I'll be honest. We about, a month or 3 weeks or to a month into this quarantine, right?
Right.
I'm going to be honest, Clarence, I'm tired of sleeping. Okay, I'm tired of sleeping. I can cut up on my sleep. I got on my rest now. I'm energized. I'm ready to watch some sports. I'm ready to go out to the park and hoop a little bit, get to the gym. I'm caught up on my sleep now. I'm good, but I will say that's been my favorite quarantine activity so far, catching up on my sleep, because I'm getting all my sleep now. Get my naps in midday now, so I'm getting out my rest.
Yeah, man. I'm just been cooking. I've been just chefing it up, man. And hopefully I can go back to work, man. I'm ready to make some more money.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Hey, we appreciate everyone checking in on our sports topics that we talked about. Again, follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_08. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. He's Clarence Nixon. I am Trey Larkins. We signing off. Peace.